Hey, how you guys doing? YouTube land. Anyways, so we've been drilling a well, and it's a shallow well. We got down to 265, and we had water that was at 160, so we wanted to get under the water table really, really good. Anyways, we've been having a heck of a time when it comes to getting it because we ended up having a couple of caverns that were down there that we went through. And in that cavern, there was quicksand, a real fine silica that was down there. And every time they would pull the drill bits out and they would put it back in, they would lose a foot worth of cave in. And then they pull it out again and they put it back in, they'd lose another foot. And so there was constantly a cave in every time they pulled it out. And so they tried, they put 5 pallets of concrete into the hole, let it set up and drilled through it. And we did pretty good. We were able to get a lot of sand out of there, but there was so much of it. He said the cave was probably the size of a full-size truck, maybe even 2. And so I don't know if you can see it. And let me show you what the discharge looked like. So right here's what we have. And it's a real fine sand. And so you can see some of the concrete remnants, but this is what I wanted you guys to see. That's hard because of the concrete. Yeah, here we go. So this is that's the sand that was in there. Real fine, real powdery. And so every time we'd be in there, that stuff would reset. And you can see they blew it out a mile. So anyway, so what they're doing now is we were forced to steel case the well. Originally, the bid came in at $15,000. There was $1,500 extra in concrete over budget. And then when we had to go this route, it became an extra $13,000. And that's because this pipe is so darn expensive. And so what they're doing now is they're dropping this perforated stuff in there. They're going to put a couple sticks of there. And then they're going to weld them together. And they're just going to start feeding this tubing in there. And so all that steel has to go down in there to case it to where it will be a solid well. So I guess it's the good Lord just protecting us, making sure we're not going to have any problems. But essentially, this went from a 2-day job to a 10-day job, and we still haven't got water. And by no means is this company. This is Del Rio Drilling and Pump. And they're out of Chino Valley, Arizona. And a good group of guys. And so you can see there's a lot more hardware that comes. Before it was just the drill well and the water truck over there with the sticks on. But then they had to bring out the steel trailers for all the steel pipe. And they had to do bring out the welder and the whole 9 yards. So as you can see, it's been kind of frustrating. I've come up with new cuss words that I can't share right now on this video. But as you can see, it's been kind of chaotic. But I'm really confident that they're going to be able to get it in order. Essentially, once they case this out. He did say that we have a really good well. I don't know if you guys know it, but a lot of people think that when they give you a gallons per minute rating on your well, they think it's how much water you're bringing to the surface, and it has nothing to do with that. Your pump dictates that. However, if you the gallons per minute has to do with how fast the aquifer that you're in recharges. So if you're pulling 10 gallons a minute out, how much is returning back to that table? And he got in there without getting an official measurement, but he's been doing it for 50 years. He says, yes, you got an 80 gallon per minute well. So that means that I could pump out 80 gallons a minute out of there and it's going to replace it. And so I'll never be that big. We're just gonna do gardening, drip emitters, and that kind of stuff, and essentially have a well as a self-supported agriculture well. because right now we're on a community well, and that well is very, very expensive for that water. Last year I had a small garden, 2 small gardens, and it cost me $450 a month. So this is going to pay for itself in the long run, probably 2 or 3 years on a return on investment. And then anything after that, it's going to be gravy. So anyways, I'll share kind of what I have with you guys right now. So what we did is, this is German red that we grew. You got to plant this stuff the end of October in Arizona, zone 7B. And then after you plant it, you're going to harvest it in July. So the garlic is doing well. They're going to do really well once we get some water to them. Pulling a hose is kind of a pain in the butt. So you're really kind of just surface watering. But we add the wood chips to retain the moisture and stuff. And then I don't know if you guys see them, but we have a ton of asparagus spears. We've already harvested this year off of them. So this is our asparagus yield right now. So we have like 42 plants. They create a lot of asparagus. So you can see big fat spears. Anyways, and then the other thing we're doing right now is we're working on we're building this extra greenhouse. We have the Aquaponics high tunnel with the deep water culture beds, but we're going to be building this, and we're going to put the plastic on it, and this is going to be our greenhouse for our baby plants that are just out of seedlings, so that way they stay warm. And that gives us a jump on the growing season, because whenever you get them in here, they kind of grow quicker, so that way you can avoid that last frost, and it kind of extends your grow period, because we do have a little cold snap that usually comes through one day in the middle of May, first week of May. But so yeah, that's what we got so far. We've been putting wood chips down. That's that back to Eden gardening. If you don't know what that is, definitely research it. And then we've got the wood chips out there, and the whole property is going to be area that we're going to be growing is going to be wood chips. So those wood chips out there, we haven't watered out there or anything, and when you dig down to like 2 or 3 inches, it's already moist. It all holds the moisture in that topsoil, brings all the microbials and all the worms up. And so another prime example is this one over here. I started this one last year, this pile right here. So to kind of explain it to you, I can show it to you guys. So I have not watered this, and if you look right here, you can see how that's raised up. We didn't mound that up. What we did was we took this old nasty moon dust soil, and then what we did was we just put bark on it, or wood chips on it. And when you put the wood chips on there, it retains the moisture and brings the microbial life and everything breaking down. So what I'll show you, this whole area, we have not watered this once this season. And if you go down in here, not even 2 inches into it, you start feeling moisture. And you can see in there, look at the moisture. And then sorry. So look at that moisture. We're rocking there, but that moisture and that life is all back in the soil. All that is just rain from last year. Snowpack and that kind of stuff. So it retains the moisture. You can see our rhubarb's coming up. Got one there and one there. That one was a little shocked last year on transplant. So, but yeah, I plan on doing a video on the back to Eden gardening, and so kind of give you guys an idea. But in Arizona, it's real dry. The wind is horrendous, and so is the direct sun. And so by taking those wood chips and putting those around your plants, it's going to retain that moisture in that environment. You don't have to put them right on the plant itself, but off to the side, about 4 inches or so. And what that allows is when you water that, that water will stay moist on that outside, and that'll cause those roots to go towards the moisture, which will spread out, which gives you more roots, which gives you a bigger plant. Anyways, everything's in development. Everything's waiting on water. And so we've got probably 800 plants that we're going to be planting this year. And so it's just a question of getting it out. So we've been keeping our minds busy and our hearts busy with doing the irrigation lines, so that way we can be ready. So once we have water, we can take off with it. Anyways, hopefully you're having a beautiful day. Be blessed. And Lord willing, we look forward to seeing you again. Y'all take care.